Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another video. My name is Tom. Thank you for joining me. Um, it's been almost 10 days since I last uploaded a video, and I wanted to apologize for that. Um, a lot of it had to do with the Thanksgiving holiday last week, but also things got a little bit crazy in my life specifically. I For some strange reason, this past Monday, which was 5 days ago, in the middle of the night, suffered an atrial fibrillation event. Essentially, the four chambers of my heart started just beating out of sync, which feels like you're being used as a drum set or just being pounded on by, I don't even know how to describe it, but it literally felt like somebody was just pounding and pounding on my chest, and blood pressure rose, things got crazy. So I essentially put myself on bed rest for 4 days. My first day back to work was on Thursday, so yesterday. And it has been quite crazy, let's just put it like that. Today, I saw my doctor. She verified the atrial fibrillation, which, by the way, if it wasn't for this Apple Watch, I wouldn't have known what was going on. This watch has actually been logging every single event and every single high heart rate incident as it comes, which is really nice because when you go to the doctor, you can just whip out your phone and say, here's what's happening. And so I went to the doctor today. They plugged me in to all these leads and essentially ran an EKG on me. And they were sure enough able to correlate that I did in fact have atrial fibrillation. Normally, it's not life-threatening. Some people have it their entire lives, and others have complications from it. I'm at a point where I'm still being evaluated for whether or not this is a complication, or if it's just something that, I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life. Fortunately, I don't have any stroke risks. There's a scale of some sort that they plug in your age, your weight, your history, and all that stuff. And they try to figure out if you have a high risk of stroke, because if your heart chambers aren't pumping correctly, there's a good chance that blood circulation is not properly flowing in the heart. And if you form a clot in your heart and one of these fibrillation events happens where your heart rate just skyrockets, that clot could essentially end up in your brain or in your lungs or someplace, and you don't want that. So they're 100% certain that I don't need any blood thinners or medication to control my heart rate. But I basically was given the instruction that if my heart rate goes over 140 and it stays there for, let's say, more than 2 hours, I immediately call the doctor. If it goes up and then comes back down, which is actually what it's doing, my fibrillation events only span about 5 to 10 seconds each. So I'll feel it. I'll hear like the blood rushing behind my ear. I can really hear it just going up into my head. And 10 seconds later, it's gone. So it's one of those things that, you live your entire life thinking that nothing can take you down, only to find out that you go to sleep one night, you wake up in the middle of the night with, a drum set banging in your chest, and you're wondering, oh my God, is this it? So I'm trying to just take it easy. I've let all the people I work with know what's happening. I've let, my wife's obviously taking care of me, and my son knows, and my mother also knows. So we're trying to just, reduce the stress, reduce the anxiety, and just try to get things to a better level, which is actually why I'm talking with less excitement. Normally I'm a little bit more wound up for these videos. And as things get better, because trust me, for 3 days, I didn't get out of bed because I couldn't. The lightheadedness was profound. The dizziness was 100%. But as of Thursday, I'm functioning again. I can go walk. I can come up and down stairs. I can lift stuff. I drove myself to the doctor, so I'm safe enough to get into the car, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of been my update of the last few days. It also explains why I haven't come on and filled you guys in on a lot of these updates. It's just been crazy. For me to even think about recording a video, that was, a task and a half in its own. Yesterday I was going to come out and do this update, but I was backed up with work because I was off for 3 days. And if you're a cybersecurity engineer and you're not doing your job for 3 days, you might as well have been on leave for 9 months, because that's kind of, more or less what your pile of work ends up becoming during that time. So anyway, I'm alive. I'm okay. I'm not hurting. I'm not dizzy. In fact, I'm sitting on the stairs. I'll get up. I'll walk around, and everything is kind of getting back to where it needs to be. In the beginning, like on Monday morning, I had probably, 5 or 6 events per hour. And it was definitely eye-opening, because you're like, uh-oh, it's happening, And today, I think I've had 2, and they were both earlier in the day. And right now, my watch is quiet. It's not giving the bling like it does when it detects abnormal heart rhythm. Be that as it is, let's get to the video here, shall we? So, excuse the mess. I don't know if a lot of this, like, we went to Costco and we got supplies before the holidays. But I wanted to kind of rewind a little bit to before the holiday. In fact, I was just showing you this spot of the floor, because right here, you can remember the Smith machine, which is now here, was actually standing where I'm standing right now. And now there's nothing here except for the Christmas tree box, my dog's bed, which goes outside, that she lays on when it's nice and sunny. So I put it right here. But I can't remember where I left off in the last video, so I'll just start over at the beginning of the week. So the first thing I did was I used everything I had to move this 350-pound machine. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This machine and I weigh exactly the same amount. Actually, I'm a little lighter thanks to my wife's cooking. I've lost a little bit of weight in the last week, but I was able to pick the machine up in order to not scratch the concrete any more than it already is. Picked it up and just moved it out about 8 feet. And the whole idea was to clear off this area right here so I could do some work in it. So I'll show you what I've done. The first thing I did was I installed this. This is the 240 volt outlet that I ran to that junction box right there, and it goes into a breaker that's inside this panel. Essentially, I just ran it on the outside because at some point there's going to be shelves here. There's going to be stuff hanging off the wall, and that's going to be covered. So it's no big deal. Yeah, there's going to be shelves here. So the way I see it is this part of the garage is going to be where I back in the Bolt EUV, and I will be able to open the doors fully, plug in right there, and be good to go. But I had to clean all this out because besides the Smith machine being in the way, and besides all of that, which, by the way, I know it's not powered on right now, but we can take care of that too. If we turn that on, you can see this baby's ready to roll. So it says 40 amp, and I believe the voltage is 243 volts at 14 degrees Celsius. So it is a little chilly inside this garage, but in an effort to not bleed power for no reason, just turn it off. And you can see EV charger. Simple enough. It's 4 cables, ground, neutral, 2 hots, and just make sure you put them in the right side. And then when you install this part, you can decide whether to put it upside down or right side up. And I originally did it the normal way because this cable, I wanted it to come around this way instead of it going weird up and around. There was reason to my madness. Now I'm not so sure because I could have easily just zip tied the cable to the wall, but it does work. And then the actual service lead, I put the gas station type, hose holder and this, the gas station type nozzle holder right here. This I got separate on Amazon, this metal clip. It did not come with the Mustard charger. The Mustard charger came with actually only the holder that it's sitting in. I can pull this out and take it with me. So if we travel someplace, actually I may not even have to because the new Bolt EUVs come with a level 1 and level 2 charger already from Chevy. So I originally got this one instead of a hard mounted, wall mounted supply, like a juice box or something. I was going to get it that was permanently mounted, but I had the idea that if I ever needed to stop at a campground, because in an emergency, you can find yourself at a campground, you can plug this baby in to the RV supply and just pay them for the power that you're using and be on your way. I'm pretty sure that's not conventional, but if you needed to and you were in a pinch in the mountains or whatever, you could charge level 2 and be out of there in 90 minutes or so. So anyway, this area was cleared off. There was a box here, which you may or may not remember. And the reason why that box is now gone is because I have been able to install that. Now you're looking at the garage track here, but this little darker metal above it is what I'm referring to. And that is the 4x8 storage shelf that is supposed to hold 600 pounds. It's actually really awesome. Now, originally, I was going to install 2 of them, one right here and then another one right here. But I got to tell you, that took me 3 days to install. It took me the day before Thanksgiving, so not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday before that, to get the anchors in on the ceiling. These things had to have measured out, spaced out correctly, and I still messed up a little bit. You can see like the one in the back corner is leaning a little bit because it doesn't really matter as long as the screws are tight. In fact, if I really wanted to, I could take it out there and move it over 1 or 2 notches and it would be straight. But I've actually swung off of this, so I know it can at least hold my 340 some odd pound weight, which is fine. But once I got those in, then I hung the supports, and then I joined all of the 4 panels here together on the floor, screwed them all together, and then the fun part was when I had to actually hoist it all up over my head and then hook them into the outside 4. Oh, this one's kind of bent too. I just noticed that. But yeah, it doesn't matter. I had to kind of clip them in. And that was a challenge. It's not heavy. I think the whole thing altogether weighs 65 pounds or 70 pounds, whatever. And it wasn't even so obnoxious as it may seem because of how big it is. But the fact that it was over my head, and also it's not just over my head, but that's 8 feet off the ground right there. About 8 feet. Because I figure my arm's 1.5 feet long. Over my head, I'm 6.5 feet tall. So I figure that's about 8 feet plus the 4 feet going up to the ceiling. I thought this was a 14-foot ceiling. It might be a 12-foot ceiling, but it is what it is. So anyway, it's up. It took 3 days, and I decided that that's it. I'm not doing another one of these again. That ladder, that's the only ladder I have, and it unfolds. It can be an A ladder. It can be a straight up and down ladder. And it also extends. You can see the little orange handles right there. You push them in and it actually gets, longer as long as you can make it with whatever length those aluminum tubes are. Anyway, be that as it is, it's not tall enough to reach all the way up there. So I was able to get probably about a foot away, and then the rest of it I did about the last, I don't know, foot, I'd say about 14 inches. I know that's presumptuous, but it might be a little bit more. I did over my head, so I held the drill because I had to drill holes into the beams. I had to drill 2 holes per bracket, so that's 8 holes. I'm sorry, my math is all wrong. That's actually 12 holes because there's 6 brackets. But suffice it to say, I was able to get it in, but it caused a lot of back pain. And now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm wondering if that was actually a contributing factor to my atrial fibrillation event. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I've been stressed out. I've been suffering anxiety off and on, lots of stuff happening in my line of work. It's just a lot to, wrap your head around. Also, I'm not sure that I'm all, settled in from moving here. Even though we moved here 6 months ago, I still feel like there's still stuff to unpack. There's things to do, things to find. I'm still looking for things. It's tough, and overall it's just taking its toll on me. Also trying to help my kid in school, trying to make sure that they, meaning my wife and son, as well as my dog, are all taken care of and everything's good. Then you have General Motors adding to the stress pile with the Bolt EUV and the fact that it's sitting a couple 100 miles away from me in a lot doing God knows what, because they can't seem to find a driver to load this thing up onto a semi and bring it to the dealership here in South Carolina. Yeah, it's like that. And then I wonder why, my heart's telling me that I need to give up the ghost, if you know what I mean. So anyway, I decided that I'm only going to do one of these. If I do end up needing more, I'm going to probably outsource that, because this one was a challenge. This one was tough because it was actually kind of far away from the wall. And this one I had to kind of just stand on the top of, I had to stand that ladder up in an A shape and then stand on the top step and then drill into the side versus the bottom. So I was holding onto a beam, using my other arm to, to leverage the drill bit into the, no. I'm not doing that again. So I've got that one and I've got this one, and it better work. Otherwise, I'm just going to, ask somebody to help me install potentially, 2, maybe 3 more of those here above the garage door, because I do have all of this space, and you can kind of see that this one sits above the track. I actually use this track with the door open. I use the track to actually lean the ladder against it, which is how I got to mount this one, and actually this middle, that middle support beam right here. I had to actually use the track of the garage door to lean my ladder against, and I figured if the garage door was open, then I was leaning on that track. The garage door would transfer my weight also onto this track, and it worked flawlessly. I trusted science, I trusted physics, and I didn't die. At least not from that. Oh man. But anyway, so here's what's going to happen. Now that I have that, I'm going to have to get a whole bunch of these clear boxes. Like, I don't know if the smaller ones or the bigger ones will work, because I actually have to take all of the cardboard boxes that are in here, all of this, like that one, these guys, and I have to put them into something that we can see. You know, because if you're standing down here and you're looking at this like, what do we have here? If it's a solid cardboard box or whatever, you're not going to know what's in it. And even if you label it right, things get moved around and then the labels are invalid anyway. But if you have a clear box, then you just look through the box and you're like, oh, okay, there's my Christmas decorations. Or, oh, there's, you know, baby clothes or whatever. Because we have all of that here. You know, there's Christmas decorations going up. The tree's already up. In fact, that'll be the thumbnail of this video, would be the tree standing in its new spot. And actually a little bit of history on that Christmas tree. I bought that tree the year that my wife got married in Sherman Oaks, California. We were living in Sherman Oaks, California at the time. And our apartment was super rinky-dinky tiny that I thought, you know, getting a tree that was, I think it's 6.5 or 7 feet tall would be perfect for that tiny space. And it actually worked out really well. And we've kept that tree. That tree's been up in every single house that we've lived in, every rental, you know, that we've had. And even our last house, it was in the corner. So these lights are actually the house lights that go around the outside of the house. I'm just waiting for a new tool to arrive from Amazon to actually, you know, clip these babies onto the gutters, because pulling this thing around the yard with it sinking in the grass and everything, because the grass is soaked from all the rains, is going to make that job too difficult. So I opted to get one of those tools that's like a pole, and it has the little hook on the end of it that allows you to put the lights in, and then you just go, and it just attaches to the gutters, to the shingles or the flashing or whatever. And that's what those 4 rolls are waiting for. There's also this red box over here that's got my LED, you know, projectors. I don't know which one's the snow and which one's the RGB snowflakes and whatever. These are color washes that actually are controlled with a remote control. So they actually work out really great. There's a whole bunch of them here. I think there's 12 altogether. I think I bought a set of 3 of them, and they each come with 4. So, and they're all kind of tied together, and, you know, they work really well. I liked it. In fact, if you go back on YouTube, if you go back a year to my holiday tribute video, I did a, you can call it a prayer or just a holiday tribute to my viewers, my friends, my family. And you can see how our old house was decorated and lit up, and that actually used all of these lights together to make a nice, you know, red, green. I think there was some blue and white in there too for the snowflakes. I think I did a decent job designing the lighting on that. So this year is going to be no different, but it's going to be different because it's a different house. So I have to kind of figure it out when I get better and when I get stronger. So hopefully by this weekend, maybe Saturday, Sunday, or this coming week when it's warmer during the week, I'll knock it out. But anyway, so the other idea that I had with this is to get hooks that can be, you know, hung off of this or off of these to actually hang both of our bikes, because there's my road bike and my son Eddie's bicycles right next to it. So we can get those off the ground. We can put them right here against the wall and put Eddie's right in front of it. So that way, you know, they're kind of out of sight, out of mind. To go back to what the original goal of this garage was, And I'll go to the top of the steps for this because it's almost easier to visualize the whole garage. Okay, so this area right here, closest to this railing, will be where my Bolt EV backs in. I'm a back in kind of guy. I always back into a parking spot if I can. In California, I've gotten in trouble so many times backing in because they always want you to pull in forward, because if your car drips oil, then that oil goes out into the main roadway and can cause an accident or whatever. So I used to get in trouble all the time, but here, back in all the time. So car's gonna back in here, the Bolt EV. There's the plug, 6 feet right to the car. Right where the Smith machine is, over, will be the spot where my wife's RAV4 will sit. Now, I pulled the RAV4 in, and the front end of that car touched this cart. You guys might recall that from the It Fits video. So have to figure that out. If we clear all of that space out, we get a lot of those boxes emptied out and either put up here, organized up there, or just thrown out. God, because there's stuff over there from 10 years ago that doesn't need to be in here. If we did all that, we could clear off all that space, fit both cars in here, and be able to open doors and have enough space to access the refrigerator that's in the corner over there. And also this Smith machine is gonna end up right here in this corner on a diagonal. So that is the plan. And I was hoping to have it taken care of all before the cold weather snaps started. Unfortunately, we've already had several cold snaps, and I believe it's very close to freezing outside right now, which kind of sucks because then in the morning you have to use these, which, if you're living in California, unless you're in the mountains, you have no idea what this is. So I got 2 of these, one for my Bolt EUV and then one for my wife's RAV4. And I've already had to use one of those on her car because things ice up pretty quickly. I gotta find a home for these 2 pumpkins that are actually 3 pumpkins, but it's confusing. Don't worry about them. They won't be there for much longer. And then I got to sort through all this stuff. Hopefully I'll be able to get it into a spot where we can just fill up a trash can, organize some stuff. I am going to set up at least one of these shelves. Oh, by the way, you guys will like this. And my question is, where did I put it though? I found the clips. So you guys remember the clips that I told you about? I bought these from Amazon. These are the clips that allow you to clip the shelves to the legs. I actually found the bag of clips, and I think I have misplaced them, or oh no, they're right here. Oh, nope, that's not it. That's not it either. Okay, they're in here somewhere. I don't know where they are right now, but needless to say, I'm gonna return those. Actually, those clips might be here with the shelves. See, this is what I do to make myself look good on TV. I lose stuff and then I have to hunt for it. Anyway, I already filed the return with Amazon, so those are going to go back because I know that those other clips are in this garage. I had them in my hand, and I even know what they look like. But now I have no idea where they are. So that's all right. Anyway, that's going to be another problem to solve. But anyway, I wanted to reach out and thank you guys so much for sticking around. And if you're still watching this video, kudos to you. Much love to you guys for supporting our channel. I did notice that a whole bunch of subscribers chose to unsubscribe from the channel, so we've lost a bunch of viewers. But it is what it is. I don't hold grudges towards anybody, and I just feel like you know, I have to do better and figure out a way to get creative to get more content on here and be interesting enough for people to stick around and remain subscribed. So hopefully with the EUV, I'll have that. You know, it's tough to make content for an EUV sort of base channel when you don't have an electric vehicle to do that with. So, I mean, I guess I can send a letter to GM thanking them, but it wouldn't do any good. So anyway, thanks again, you guys, for watching. Until next time, go down below, leave me your thoughts, and have a good, I guess, good rest of the evening. Take care.